Okay, hi everybody. My name's Carrie Scott, and welcome all of you RVP to Bs to our week 6 training call. And I am super excited to get to announce our guest speaker tonight because I love this girl. She's one of my favorite Arbonne friends. She's a sideline ENVP and also under Cecilia Stoll. And you guys are for a huge treat to get to hear from Executive National Vice President Tracy Dyer tonight. And I want to say just a few things about her before I turn the call over to her. First of all, she's a dear friend, and I love getting to do business with her. I admire her for not only for the leader that she is, but the incredible success line in business that she has built. And you guys are going to hear a little bit about that tonight. But Tracy has been in Arbonne for 3 years. She is a 3-wide national vice president. She has already earned the Africa Challenge trip for the NVPs this year. She's promoted 2 direct NVPs this year and 4 RVPs in her nation. She's in the $1 million club. She's married and has 2 daughters. They're 17 and 20. And she's just an awesome person. So I can't wait for her to pour into our team tonight, to all of you. And we're going to get to hear an incredible training from her. And so, Tracy, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up, Carrie, if you can hear me. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. But first I have to correct you, Carrie. It's 8 years, not 3 years. Like, dang, I'm good. 3 wide in 3 years, that'd be pretty amazing. So, but it's actually been 8 years. And thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. And I love you too, my friend. That's one of the best parts of this business, is just getting to meet people who you would never meet if it weren't for Arbonne, and become best friends with just all different people who live all over the place. And I feel like I just have family everywhere now. So I'm super excited and so honored to be your guest trainer tonight. And for those of you who don't know me, like Carrie said, my name is Tracy Dyer. I'm an Executive National Vice President and Independent Consultant with Arbonne. And this call series, you guys, has been so amazing. So if this is your first week jumping in, please do yourself and your business a favor and go back and watch all of these trainings. Go back to, there was actually a pre-week. I don't even know if we're on week 6 or week 7, but there was a pre-week one as well. And you want to watch every single one of them. And my advice would be to, even though you're trying to play catch up, to truly watch one a week. And the reason is because you actually have to apply what you've learned in those trainings and do the homework. And that is the key, you guys. You can absolutely be a regional vice president by the end of the year if you truly apply all that has been covered in these trainings calls. They have been absolutely amazing. And I hope that you believe that, because if you believe you can, or you believe you can't, you are absolutely right. You have probably heard that before, but I 100% believe that. So my topic for tonight is the Healthy Living Tracker. Basically, it's like I have a new healthy living client, now what? And so many of you may not know my story, so let me tell you a little bit about my journey first. Again, I was introduced to Arbonne about 8 years ago, and I saw Mindy Pretty, my upline and my sponsor, posting on Facebook about this healthy living program that she was doing. And after her 3rd post raving about it, I called her and told her I wanted to do it too. And I started posting on social media immediately. And remember, I was just a preferred client at that point, but I was asking people to pray for me because I was going gluten-free, dairy-free, sugar-free, soy-free, caffeine-free, alcohol-free for the next 30 days. And this created a ton of buzz, and people were asking me for more information. And I continued posting my journey. And every time I would post, I would get people interested. So as the good client that I was referring all these interested people to Mindy. And prior to doing this program, I thought I was already eating healthy. I had worked out my entire life. I thought I knew what there was, to know about nutrition. But this literally took it to a whole new level for me. And I lost 10 pounds in that first month and was actually back to my pre-college weight. And being in my 50s, that was a huge deal. So I was just, over the moon with the program. Now, I didn't have any particular health issues, but the people that I referred to Mindy did. And their results were nothing short of miraculous. I was so blown away by their results and watching their health issues, basically disappear, that's when the light bulb went on for me. And I called Mindy and I asked her if I could join her team, because really it was like, for me, it was like the epiphany, that, moment of, oh my gosh, it's the food that we're eating that's causing all of these health issues. Because the people that I think I referred her, like 6 people, and all 6 of those people had health issues, and they were all completely different stuff that they had suffered with since they were a kid. One of the girls suffered with something since she was 8 years old. And so I just had this moment of clarity, like it's the food that we're eating that's causing all of our issues. And so I literally picked up the phone, called Mindy and said, hey, I think I need to join your team. Of course, she probably almost fell over. But thinking back, had Mindy told me about the business initially when she first started, I probably never would have joined her team, because I wasn't looking for a business opportunity, quite frankly. I didn't think I needed the business, even though I absolutely did. I didn't think I did at the time. But I never would have considered working for a network marketing company. But after falling in love with the Healthy Living program, I couldn't help but want to tell everyone about it. And since I was already telling everyone about it, I might as well be making a little bit of money at the same time. And I knew nothing about the opportunity. I didn't know about the income potential. I didn't even really know that there was a business associated with it. But like I said, we absolutely did need the money, but I didn't think that Arbonne was going to be the vehicle to help us get out of the situation that we were in. So when I called her to tell her that I wanted to join her team, she asked me a question, and she was brand new. But the question that she asked me was, how much money do you want to make so I know how to coach you? And again, I didn't know anything about Arbonne. So my response to her was $200 a month. I said, oh, Mindy, I'm not doing this for the money, but gosh, if I could make $200 a month, like I'd be totally happy. So I asked her 0 questions. I didn't know how long Arbonne had been in business. I didn't know who the CEO was or what the comp plan was, or that there were 4 different levels. And honestly, I never even made the connection that this was a network marketing company. So like I said, we needed the money, but I didn't see this as our way out. I didn't see that this was a real business. So that wasn't my motivation. My motivation for joining the business was truly just to tell everyone about this Healthy Living program, because I truly thought it was absolutely amazing. Now, I know that not everyone's like that, and there are many people who need details and have tons of questions, and they need to get those questions answered. But what I found is that for most people, once they've fallen in love with the products and they already have other people interested, it's such a natural, organic process that truly every single VP on my team, and this is like huge, you guys, every single VP on my team actually asked me to join my team, just like I did with Mindy. So in a snapshot, I'm just going to give you what my business looked like. I got to DM in 6 weeks. I was in area 1 year later. 1 year after that, I was an RVP. So 2 years total to regional vice president. I wasn't even looking at national vice president, you guys. I truly thought, I'd only been to 1 GTC at that point. And I thought that all the people walking the stage and stuff, that they were either 2 types of people. They were the rock stars, like the Debbie Neals of the world, and I knew I wasn't a Debbie Neal, or they were people that had just been in the business for a long time. That's what I thought. So when I got to RVP, I just thought, this is awesome. I'm just going to hang out here. This is like, I never even thought I would get here. So this is just good, right? But my business grew 5-fold over the next 11 months. And so literally a year later, or 11 months later, we were a nation. And 3.5 years into my business, we were doing, it was basically a multi-million-dollar business. And 6 years later, we were doing well over $1 million in sales on a monthly basis. And we're almost ready to hit that $2 million mark at this point, 8 years into it. So, and apparently these are some things I've been told. We have one of the highest retention rates for our consultants and one of the highest preferred client to consultant ratios. So really what I've been asked to talk about tonight is how we've been able to do that. And I believe that we do that because we coach our clients through the Healthy Living Program so very well, and we've been able to duplicate that down. So that's what I want to share with you tonight. And I know many people have built huge businesses much faster than I have. And you guys, Instagram wasn't even a thing 8 years ago. But we have been super successful at doing this one thing, and we do it really well, and we've been able to duplicate it down. So let me jump right into it. I'm going to go over the tracker in just a little bit. So hopefully you've printed this out. I think Carrie said she posted it. There's a couple different versions of this floating around. There's actually one on the source that was is a version of mine. This is one that I just recently updated because mine was literally from 8 years ago and it was pretty pathetic. But hopefully you have one of these in front of you. If not, maybe you can quickly pull it up or print it out or something. But building a business is a mindset. So when we get a new healthy living client, our mindset is that they could and should be our very next business builder. So to me, it feels like dating. You're dating them to see if they're right for the business or not. So you're kind of weeding them in or weeding them out. And my mindset going into it, and what I teach and train my team, is that we truly want them to be even more successful than they do. And so it's a win-win. And the reason why we want them to be so successful is because, number one, if they're successful, we know that they're going to reorder at a minimum, right? And so that's a minimum of a follow-up order of 150. And honestly, we really get them to order the whole kit again, and I'll explain that later. But number two, if they're successful, the chances of you getting referrals are super high. And again, that's the residual income part, right? Because otherwise, if we're just selling kits all day long or selling product all day long, we're just trading time for money. And that's not why you got into Arbonne. That's the beauty of network marketing, is leveraging your time and the residual income. So you've got to get both of those pieces as quickly as possible to build a big business. So, and number three, the best case scenario is that they join your team and they're your next district manager, right? So most people in our organization, like 98% of them, come through the Healthy Living Program. And this is perfect way in my mind, because the Healthy Living Program requires hand-holding. It requires support. It requires accountability. It requires follow-up. So you're developing a relationship with them. And that's what this business is all about. This business is about building relationships. So it's easy to see who would be perfect for this business because you've just spent, the last 30 days or maybe even less. I kid you not. Like, we have a lot of people signing up to do this business in week one. But bottom line is, you've developed a relationship with them. You've talked to them several times at this point, and you've been holding their hand and coaching them through this process. So you're already basically teaching them the business, right? And the person that's going to be perfect for this business is the person who's rocking it, right? They are loving the program. They're having great results. They're engaging in the Facebook groups. They're maybe posting their meals. They could be even posting stuff on their own personal social media pages like I was. So it's kind of a no-brainer. So in my mind, every new preferred client we get is quite possibly our next business builder. And so we go into it with that mindset. And I think that's the key. The key is that that's really the only reason. Well, I mean, this isn't an altruistic business, right? I mean, it kind of feels like it is sometimes because we just love getting people healthy. And I always joke I would do this business even if I wasn't getting paid, because I love helping people. But we're all here to build a business, right? Bottom line, we're all here to make money. And we all have our goals and dreams and stuff. And so the reason why we are getting them through the Healthy Living Program is because we want them to join our team. So you have to go into it with that mindset. And so we start dripping the business on them right away, because that's our goal, is to get them to join our team. So an example of how we do that would be the first thing that we do. Okay, you've got a brand new person who said yes to the clean eating program or healthy living program. And so what we always say is, I'm so excited that you're going to join this program, Carrie. I know you're going to love it. Who do you know that might want to do this with you? It's so much more fun to do it with a roommate, a sister, a daughter, a spouse, a boyfriend, a roommate, a coworker. Who do you know that you think would do this with you? And that way you guys can hold each other accountable. You can even maybe make your meals together if you're living under the same roof. It's awesome. And you wait and hear what they say. And they usually say, oh my gosh, yes, I totally think that my daughter should do this with me, or my sister should, or I'm trying to talk my husband into it. So we're already planting that seed, because I rather sell 2 or 3 kits, right? Instead of just one at the same time. So that is probably the number one tip that I can give you, is always ask, who do they want to do this with? And that might sound familiar, because when you bring a new business builder on, that's what you're going to ask them too, right? You're going to say, who do you want to build this business with? Just as easy for me to train 2 people as it is to train 1. And it's so much more fun for you to build this business with a friend or a sister or a daughter or whatever. So ask them who they know that they might want to do this with, is the first tip that I would give you. So we're going to continue to drip on them all the way through their 30-day program. When they have great results and are loving the program, we're going to say, you're doing so great. I bet you other people are asking you what you're doing. So if you think about it, that's what I love about this program, is people are drinking their fizz, right? People are seeing them drinking their fizz, or they're asking them, what are you drinking? They're seeing them drinking their shakes. If they're in a work environment, they are probably avoiding stuff in the lunchroom. They're not eating the junk, or they're not going out to eat, or they're skipping their Starbucks. And so everyone in their life is noticing these changes that they're making, and they're asking them what the heck they're doing, right? They're seeing the changes, or they're asking them, how come you're not having the birthday cake, or you're passing on the donuts, or you always have a donut, or what's that shake you're drinking? So we ask them, who are people asking you? And they almost always say yes. So when they ask them that, then I say, I'm happy to talk to them. You want to give me their name and number? Do you want to get some friends together and I'll come over, explain the program? And, I'm happy to give you a free product, for the referral. You might want to, dangle that little carrot for them, so there's some incentive for them. But be sure that you're asking them early on if they're having success and loving it. And again, the key to that is that you're coaching them. I always say you got to coach the heck out of them. And I'm going to go over how to do that in just a minute when I get to the tracker. So I love this healthy living program for so many reasons. It's such an organic process. Like I said, their friends and family members are watching them. They're watching their journey. They're watching them change. If they get headaches all the time, they're going, how come you're not getting those headaches anymore? How come you're not having that afternoon crash? Or if they had other health issues, they're commenting on them and they're simply astounded. I mean, we even have people who go to the doctor and the doctors are blown away, literally like right away in a week or 2 weeks, and their blood pressure is going down, and even the doctor's saying, what are you doing? And so sometimes we're even getting it in with the doctor. So it's pretty fun. So many times they will even document their journey on social media. And if they're not, we certainly, we'll plant that seed and get them to do that, just like I did. Especially if they're loving it. We'll say, because a lot of times you'll find, if you watch those healthy living Facebook groups, the posts that they're doing in there are so good. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, Susie, would you mind putting that same post on your personal? And we'll see who out of your friends and family wants to join you and who else we could help. And they almost always say yes. So another reason why I love the Healthy Living program so much is that it's an awesome way to build your business, because you guys, the products run out in 30 days. So again, if you do a good job coaching them, you are guaranteed to get that reorder, because most people need to continue longer than 30 days. And I'll explain that when we go over the detox tracker as well. But it pretty much guarantees us a minimum of $150 reorder. And typically we get the full $317 and even more, because we're always doing the add-ons. And so I'll talk to you about that too. But at this point, upgrading them to a consultant is really a no-brainer, because they usually already have people that they want to refer to you, just like I did with Mindy. So they've got their clients all lined up, and they need to place a reorder anyways for their products to continue their new healthy living lifestyle. So it's super easy to upgrade them to a consultant and to get them to district manager in 1 to 2 months, which is always our goal. So, and that gets them so excited to tell even more people, because, you know, they do their, they upgrade, they do their reorder. They have like maybe 3 friends or family that they get. And, you know, I always say, oh my gosh, do you realize, you know, you're $500 away from getting into district manager qual, or you're, you know, 3 kits away. And that gets them so fired up. And they're like, oh my gosh, I feel like I didn't even do anything. And it just keeps them motivated to want to, you know, finish that district manager qualification or get into qualification quickly. So 10 new preferred clients a month, and they're a district manager in those first 2 months. So that's always our goal. So the new business builder coaches their clients through the program just like they were. So again, that's why it's so important that you've done a good job coaching them, because you're basically training them on what they're going to turn around and do. So if you haven't done a good job with that, guess what? It's not going to work. It's not going to duplicate down very well. So that's why it's just so important that you've done a good job. And again, then they're going to, you know, coach their clients, turn those people into business builders, and it just, you know, continues to go on and on. And so that's why it's just so important that we do a really great job. So I'm going to hop right into this, this healthy living tracker, you guys. I feel like I'm running out of time already. So hopefully you have this in front of you, but this is the key to, in my words, coaching the heck out of your detoxers. And I use the word detoxer, you guys, only with you because it's shorter, like clean eating challenge or healthy living is just kind of a mouthful, but I never use that term with my clients, just so you know. So I always say this is a detox tracker. But so you always want to list all your clients that you've sold the kits to on this sheet, because if you are really building a business and have a lot of clients doing the program, you could feasibly have them in 3 different groups at the same time. And it is so easy to get confused as who's on what date and who's in which group and who needs to reorder and who's on week 3. So that's why I created this, just to make it super, super simple for you guys. So you write down their name, you ask them, you know, when is this when do they want to start? Because some people may be going on vacation and maybe having a different start date. And then the first little column there is you just put a check mark when you've accomplished this, but at least 5 days before they're going to start, you want to order their nutrition ASVP. And we always recommend add-ons. This is huge, you guys. I have some of my team members, instead of getting 317 QV, they're getting 500 QV because they're adding on vitamins, they're adding on protein bars and chews. But it's super important to at least recommend the chews. I find that people, like, that can make or break someone being successful, because they're going to want to cheat, and those chews for so many people are a lifesaver. And so I basically just tell them, if you have a sweet tooth, you absolutely have to throw on a bag of chews. And then I make my other recommendations. But another reason why I feel that's important is because when they're in those Facebook groups, they're going to hear about the chews. And inevitably people say, what are the chews? I don't know about them. And then they call their consultant and they want the chews. Well, nobody wants to pay shipping, right? $7.95 shipping or whatever it is now on 1 bag of chews. So I always tell my consultants, it's your job to recommend those up front so they're not stuck, you know, paying shipping a week from now. So you just mark off that you've ordered their kit, and that you talk to them about add-ons, and that you talk to them about who's going to be their accountability partner. Who do they want to do this program with? Then you add them to the Facebook group as soon as it opens. And in my opinion, adding them on the day it opens is so crucial to their success, you guys. That first week, the pre-week, I say that's when they're going to get all the education and the preparation. So that's invaluable, that week. So ideally you want them in the day that it opens, which obviously is a week before they're going to start. So just put a check mark that you added them to the Facebook group, you sent them a welcome email or a welcome text. Remember that with these Facebook groups, they physically have to click join. And so you want to make sure that they've done that as well. Then 3 days before they start, you might want to send a little text and say, hey, just want to make sure that you have everything you need. And if they haven't given you who their accountability partner is, like who wants to do with them, you've planted that seed. And now you can follow up. Hey, did you find anybody? I know you talked about maybe trying to get your mom to do this with you and your husband. What did they say? Do you want me to talk to them? Do I need to get on a call? So again, you're following up on those accountability partners trying to sell multiple kits there. Then this is super important. The day before they start, so typically it's Sunday. So Sunday, sometime on Sunday, you want to maybe text them ahead of time and say, hey, I need to talk to you on Sunday. When's going to be a good time? When are you going to have like 10 to 15 minutes? And then you're going to review what their first day is going to look like. And I mean, review it in detail. Ask them when they're going to get up. Tell them how to take their Digestion Plus. Tell them how to make their shake. Find out, when they work and if they're going to bring their lunch to work or how that's all going to go down. But you want to map out the whole day for them so they know what they're going to do come Monday morning. And then Monday, you want to get in. These are calls, you guys. So there's times when you can text, but there are specific times when you have to call. So Sunday night is absolutely a call. I think getting an accountability partner is a call, and day one is absolutely a call. So Monday night, if that's their day one, you're going to call them around 7 o'clock because they should maybe be done eating by 7 o'clock, and you are going to review the day. So the reason why this needs to be a call and not a text is if you text them and say, hey, how was your day? They're going to say great or not so great or whatever, and that's all you're going to get. But you want to ask them, like, even if they say great or not so great, you're going to review the whole day again. What I say is you're going to go through their day with a fine-tooth comb, because if they're making any mistakes or if there's any tweaks that need to be made, you want to make them on day one and not on day 7 when they report that they gained 2 pounds or only lost 1 or whatever it is. So let's make those adjustments on day 1 so that we can guarantee that we're going to have some success on day 7, because that's what's going to keep them going. And that's what's going to, have them posting about it and talking to their friends about it. So day 1 in the evening is absolutely a call. Day 3, again, check in. That can be a text. Hey, how you doing? Just, want to see what's going on. Make sure you're doing well. Day 5, check in and see if the client is equipped for the weekend. You guys, that's where most people cheat. So make sure that they're going into it strong. And if they have events, if they have weddings or barbecues, make sure that they're prepared for that. So that one might be a call as well. Day 8, you're kicking off week 2. At this point, you can ask for a testimonial. You put a plug in for, hey, would you mind posting your results on social media or tell people how much you're loving this program? And again, you're just going to go along, and this totally has all these prompts for you, but they are so very important. You want to discuss the body cleanse with them on day 13. You want to get their weight from them. And we don't have them do the inches, only in the beginning and the end. And the before and after picture, you guys, is huge. So I didn't mention that, but make sure that they take that before picture. And I always tell people, you don't have to post it. Trust me, you don't even have to give it to me, but you are going to be so happy you have it, because you're going to be blown away at your results. And almost all my clients who don't take a picture are always mad that they didn't, because they kind of think the program's not going to work. So they think, why take a picture? But the program does work. And so they're so happy when they have that picture. So again, day 16, check in, ask how the client's feeling. Day 22, at this point, you need to be discussing their goals, which you probably already have their goals, like when they're starting the program. But it's important to know, does your client have like a lot of weight to lose? Because most people need to do this more than a month. And I recommend, even if you don't have a lot of weight to lose, that you do the program more than a month, because the longer you do it, the more it becomes a lifestyle. And we want this to be a lifestyle for them, because that's how it changes people's lives. So you want to find out, are they going to go into maintenance at the end of this 30 days, or are they going to continue on? Either way, they're going to need another kit, right? So even if they're going into maintenance, I discuss with my clients that, yeah, you may only want like need 1 bag of protein and 1 box of fizz or something like that, but you're only going to get 20% off if you just kind of piecemeal it. So it's much more cost effective if you just buy the whole kit. You'll get 40% off, and the kit will just last you longer. So when I explain it that way, I just say it's much more cost effective to buy it together as a kit. And this way, maybe it'll last you 2 months instead of 1 month if you're going on maintenance. But I try to encourage most of my clients to keep going on the program for at least 60 days, if not longer, if they have, a lot of weight to lose. Because if they have 30, 40, 50 pounds on up, they're going to need to do this for a couple months straight. So you just want to make sure that they're in the right mindset for that. And you want to get that reorder placed. Again, continue asking them for referrals. You know, who's been talking to you, asking you what you're doing. Happy to help them get healthy too. And again, you're dripping the business on them, because if they have referrals for you, guess what? You're going to say, well, shoot, I can take these referrals, or I can upgrade you and you can make money on these people, and I can teach you how to build a business. So day 28, you know, you can offer them an RA9 sample. You can talk to them about different skincare that we have. Day 29, congratulate them, prompt the client to take their after picture, maybe post it, take those measurements. Day 31, ask client for referrals, invite to a Discover Arbonne, and then make sure that you have either added them to the next healthy living group because they're continuing on, or transition them into a maintenance group or whatever kind of social media groups that you guys have, so you can keep those connections going. So that's kind of the healthy living tracker in a nutshell. I kind of did it pretty quickly. Certainly there's more things you can do, but the most important thing is that you just stay organized and you stay in communication with them, that you hold their hand all the way through, that you're developing that relationship, that you're asking for referrals, and that you are dripping the business on them and telling them, gosh, I don't know if you knew, but there's a business associated with this. I know how much you're loving the program. I know your friends and family must be asking you what you're doing. You'd be so great at this because you've loved this. You've been posting your pictures, you're rocking your meals. Like, this has been awesome for you. And so you have to ask each and every person, because you don't know who's going to say yes and who's going to say no. And honestly, like, you don't even know who's going to, if they all say yes, like, you have no idea who's going to really take the business and be a rock star and who's not. Because I tell you from my experience, what the heck? That was so weird. I just had all these windows pop up. But from my experience, the person you think is going to be a rock star might not be. And the person who you're like, oh, I don't even know if she can do this business, ends up being the rock star. So I teach, don't prejudge, just invite every single person to take a look at this business and explain how it can work for them. So I'm about 3 minutes over. Let me just go over my notes real quick. I think I kind of covered everything. Carrie, did I miss anything? I'm just going through my notes. I think
Share for just a minute how you guys retain your consultants, because your success line is one of the highest, or the highest in Arbonne for district manager retention and consultant retention.
Thank you. So so truly, I believe that we're so good at retaining people because of the process that they've been through, that they are joining our teams because this healthy living program has changed their life. When it's changed somebody's life, they are 100% all in, whether they see, like, whether they get to RVP in a year or two, or whether it takes them 5 or 6 years, they are all in because they're committed to the lifestyle. They're committed to what Arbonne stands for. And so I believe that's part of what's helping us with retention, as well as just the community that we have with our team and stuff. I think that's super important as well. I think some people just stay in it because of the community, because they love the people so much, which is another great reason. But I believe that it's the healthy living program that's keeping everybody focused and keep moving, and they don't want to quit because this has changed their life. And when it's changed your life, like, you don't want to quit, and they're truly motivated to help other people experience what they've experienced. And so they just want to share this with everybody. And whether that's 5 people a month or whether it's 20 people a month, they just want to help people. So I think that's truly what keeps them going. But also, I mean, there's other things that's a factor of that, but I think we all kind of do the same thing. We all coach, we, get them started. We do the launch parties, all of that stuff. And I think when they see success right away, when they become district managers in the first, 1, 2, or 3 months, that gets them excited. And then, obviously we all tell people, gosh, if you can get to district, you can get all the way. And so they believe that because it's true. If you can get to district, all you have to do is turn around and teach and train other people how to do what you just did over and over, and you're a nation. So I hope that kind of helped a little bit, Carrie. But this is a really weird thing for me to be able to introduce Cecilia Stoll to you guys. I just told Carrie, like, oh my goodness, like, I don't think I've ever introduced Cecilia. This is crazy. But I just have to say a few words before I turn it over to her, because she is such a dear friend to me and an amazing mentor. I know all of you guys know that, but she has been so instrumental, not only in my business, but in fulfilling my dream that I had planted deep down back in my early 20s about my desire to help orphans in Africa. And Cecilia watered those seeds for me. And so I believe that it was a divine appointment that I got into Arbonne and happened to be in Cecilia's success line, because I have been able to go to Africa 5 times now with the same organization that she goes to and supports. So that has been such a blessing. And so she has not only changed my life from a business standpoint, but she has helped me just fulfill a lifelong dream of mine. And for that, I am forever grateful. So I just want to turn it over to Cecilia, who's going to take it away, and then she's going to give us our homework.
Thank you so much, Tracy, and ditto to everything that you said. I feel the same way about you. So grateful for your friendship and for the memories that we've made together and are yet to make together, but you've added so much value to all of Arbonne and to our organizations as well. And I think, Carrie, you did not mention that Tracy has 27 VPs on her team. And so you have got to, hopefully you took notes, and if you're driving or you're just listening and you couldn't take notes, you're gonna go back and take notes, because if you use the tips that Tracy gave you about, you know, basically following up, you guys, the fortune is in the follow-up. The tips Tracy gave you tonight alone, even if you haven't listened to any of the prior calls or don't listen to any of the future calls, if you implement just that in your business will change, and that you will grow. And I know, Tracy, also, you just retired your husband. And so I know you guys are getting ready to have the time of your life together. So thank you for this amazing training. And we all need a tool like this to help us follow up better. So, and for those of you who are coming to our VP retreat, you're going to have a great treat from Tracy and Mindy. They're going to be training a little bit more on this, so you guys are going to love that. But tonight, before I give you your homework, we're going to get into our book, The 21 Indispensable Qualities of a Leader by John Maxwell. And hopefully you guys are reading this book along with us, because if you don't grow personally, no matter what happens to your business, you may get the numbers and you may get the title, but you won't be able to sustain your team. You won't be able to develop your team, because so much about success has to do with personal development. And that's why, in addition to give you nuts and bolts in these calls, we also give you leadership training. And so what I want to talk about tonight is about the chapters on generosity and initiative. And so let's talk about generosity for a little bit, because I think sometimes we think, why do I need to talk about generosity? I'm building an Arbonne business. No, you're building a team. You are a leader. And a leader who is selfish is not going to be followed very long. And it's definitely not going to be trusted. And so, because generosity permeates every aspect of a leader's life, and your team needs to know that you are somebody who has their best interest at heart, and that you're not about you, and every decision that you make is not based on how will this benefit me, but how will this benefit my team. But we have to be generous in every area of our life. It's a character trait. It's a character quality. And the good news is, if you feel like you've been all about you, which I know you would not admit to anybody, but you inside know, it's a quality that can be cultivated. So how do you cultivate more generosity in your life? He gives us 5 ways to do that. The first one is to be grateful for what you already have. And I love a quote by Jim Rohn. He says, be content with what you have while you pursue all that you want. Be content with what you have while you pursue all that you want. It doesn't stop with be content with what you have, period. Because we should never be satisfied. We should always be striving for more, because we don't want to leave this earth, right, with any potential left in us. And so we can be content with what we have while we pursue all that we want. And that means at every level of your journey, you need to be grateful for where you are and continue to pursue that next level, the next volume, the next team member, the next size of organization, the next comma in your check, whatever it might be. But while you're pursuing all that, you're grateful for what you have today. And so you guys, don't spend time comparing your business to someone else's business, because it's just your journey, and your journey is not supposed to look like anyone else's but yours. And so you need to have an abundance mentality and focus on what's going right, and also on what you can learn instead of scarcity. So the second way to cultivate generosity is by putting people first. No matter who it is, it could be your team, it could be your upline, it could be a sideline. Maybe you are at a meeting and it's not your job to help pick up the products that somebody displayed, but you go and help that person. It's a habit that we create, and something happens in us when we serve people, and because we are changed by serving other people. The third way to cultivate generosity is, this is so important, don't allow the desire for possessions to control you. And I want to give all of you a warning, and that is, as your checks grow in this business, don't change your lifestyle too quickly. Make sure that you base your lifestyle on your low months and not your high months. Never make a purchase based on projected income. So instead of be thinking about, oh, I want to make more money, I want to get to nation because I want to have this and I want to have that. There's nothing wrong with wanting some tangible things that are like your rewards for success, but that desire to have things cannot control you. Make sure that even as you acquire things, you remember where you came from, and you always think, you know what, if I ever went back to where I was, I would still be content, because my contentment and my happiness is not based on the things that I own. The fourth way to cultivate generosity is to regard money as a resource. And so we get money and we think, what can I do with this? How can I make people better? How can I grow myself? That's something super important for you to do with the money that you earn, is to invest in your personal development. And invest in books, and invest in attending our conferences and things like that. And also invest in your team, doing challenges for your teams, putting on events, putting on retreats. So use money as a resource for your life to be enlarged. And then the fifth way to cultivate generosity in our lives is to develop the habit of giving. One of the things that I teach people is to give from your very first check. Give, and to me, I believe in the concept of tithing. That's so important. So 10% of your check needs to go back to God. However you choose to make that happen based on your faith, make that happen. Because if you don't give, you become greedy. And giving destroys greed in your life. And because if you're enslaved by greed, you cannot lead. Can you imagine following a greedy leader? Nobody wants to follow a greedy leader. I love this quote by John Maxwell. He said, "You have not lived today until you have done something for someone who can never repay you." Maybe it's not money, but maybe it's a gesture. Maybe it's an act of service. Maybe it's just something that you do for that person that they could never do back for you. There's something that happens inside us when we serve or do things for people who can't pay us back. So I want to encourage you guys this week to every single day think, today I'm going to give either of my time or my resources or my money, whatever it might be, or even words, maybe giving words of affirmation to someone who is not good at giving words of affirmation back to you. This week, I want you to practice every single day giving something from yourself to someone else every single day. Put that in your homework, which I'm not going to say it when I tell you the homework, but it just came to me, and I want to encourage you guys to do that. So generosity was the first quality. The second quality that we read about, hopefully you guys are reading the book along with all of us, is initiative. And this is so good because you guys, successful people keep moving. We don't wait to be motivated. We don't wait to be inspired. Sometimes I have people on my team that will call me and say, Cecilia, I just needed to talk to you because I just needed a kick in the butt. And what I always will say to them is, well, do you have a foot? So kick yourself in your own butt. Kick yourself in the butt. You don't need to have somebody give you a kick in the butt if you know what you want. So you need to practice having initiative in your life. You have to initiate what you want to see happen in your life. And so people with initiative, they know what they want. And one of the things that really stops people from growing in this business is they get analysis paralysis. And they think, okay, what should I do next? And if I do this, what if they, what if I call them and they say this? But then if I call and they don't answer, then should I call them again? It's kind of like the Mel Robbins 5-second rule. We just need to sometimes, when a thought of initiative, of doing something positive for our businesses pops into our minds, we need to just go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and do it right then. So you need to be initiating the calls to these people that are on your chicken list that you've been afraid to reach out to. You need to be initiating contact with your team members that you haven't talked to in a while. You don't know who might be waiting for you to show up. And so, successful people who have initiative know what they want. They also push themselves to act. You guys, that's about getting out of your comfort zone and waiting for the feeling. Like we think, I'm just waiting for the vibe to just overpower me with this incredible desire to make my calls today or to reach out to people. No, you guys get this. All of us, me, Tracy, Carrie, Christy, all of us on this call who are MVPs, we have the same dreads that you guys have. Like, we dread sometimes making certain calls. But we make ourselves do what we need to do. You guys, sometimes you just have to push yourself to do the very things that you don't want to do. Those of you who are on this call, probably every single one of us could be thinking of something else that's also productive that we could be doing. But what do? We make ourselves get up, get on the calls. We make ourselves read. We make ourselves reach out to people. We make ourselves do the things that maybe at times we don't feel like doing. But guess what? Sometimes the thought of doing it is actually worse than the actual doing. I know I've always felt that way. Every time I have to go do a party, in my mind I think, oh my gosh, I have a party. I have to get all my stuff together and I have to get in my car and I have to drive and get there early and set it all up and make my bars, get my fizzies and get there. And in my mind I think, it's Sunday afternoon, I could just be resting or doing whatever it is. But I make myself do it because I know how I'm going to feel after I've done it. But the minute I get there and I'm interacting with that new business builder or the person who's hosting it, I get excited and I get fulfilled and I'm reminded, this is why I do this. And so remember that the thought of doing something so much of the time is so much worse than the actual doing it. So you've got to push yourself to act. Don't wait for your upline to give you a challenge or to encourage you. Make yourself do it. Do it based on what you want out of this business. Also, people with initiative take more risks than other people. We take risks. You guys, there are so many risks that you're going to take in this business if you want to take your business to the next level. You may have to get on a plane and fly somewhere to launch somebody, do a few parties that turn into nothing, or they'll turn into something. It's a risk you'll have to take. You may have to make some phone calls or go all the way across town to sit at Starbucks with someone to share the business with them. And they may say no, but they may say yes. And the thing is, you just don't know who your yeses are going to be. But we all know not every single person we talk to will say yes, right? So that means we need to talk to way more people than we want to have in our business. And not everybody we get in the business will actually do the business. That means we have to talk to even more people. And so we have to take the risk and put ourselves out there and do some of the things that make us really uncomfortable and not be afraid to fall forward and go, you know, it wasn't a fall unless I stay down. If I get up, it was just a setback. You know, I love this saying, a setback is a setup for you to step up. A setback is a setup for you to step up. So anytime you face a setback, pat yourself on the back like, I took a risk. I did something for my business and that thing didn't pan out, but something else is going to come my way because I acted in my business. And obviously by taking more risks, people with initiative make more mistakes. You guys, I've made more mistakes than any of you have. The NVPs have made more mistakes than the RVPs. We've said the wrong thing. We, you know, might have done things we shouldn't have done. We didn't do things we should have done. But the key is we learn. We have learned, and we will continue to learn. And so we need to, this week, practice generosity and practice being self-starters. Having initiative, taking the initiative for what you want to see happen in your business. So here's your homework, okay? So obviously, we're gonna read 2 chapters of our book. We're gonna read chapters 11 and 12 of our book. Last week, we gave you the homework from Kat Tarasina for the 30 and 30 challenge. And so you're gonna continue to work on the 30 and 30 challenge to be in front of 30 people in the month of August. There is still plenty of time. Also, based on the great training that we heard from Tracy Dyer tonight, we want to give you the challenge this week to find 10 people before the end of the month to do the healthy living, to jump on the 30 Days to Healthy Living group, the next group. So 10 detoxers this month. How are you going to do that? You can post it on social media. You can reach out via phone call, text, in person. Maybe you're gonna do a virtual healthy happy hour with them or an in-person healthy happy hour. Maybe it's time for you to have some people that you've been inviting, but they haven't been able to come. And you pick a date, you guys, today is Wednesday, and you can go, you know what, guys, Saturday morning, I'm doing, or tomorrow night, Thursday night, I'm doing a healthy happy hour. Will you come? And bring a friend. I love this concept of who's gonna do this with you? Bring a friend with you. So you have to find 10 people this month and use the tracker. I want you to start practicing using the tracker, which is posted on our RVP2B page, the tracker that Tracy Dyer shared with us, and coach them well by using the tracker. And also part of your homework is to ask some of your current healthy living clients and even past healthy living clients for referrals. Ask for referrals. What a great way to get names added to your 100-person list. Or you can even ask them, call them and say, would you be willing? You guys have always been so transparent with people and genuine about what my intentions were. I would call friends and say, hey, I am really focused on building my business and I'm trying to grow my circle of friends and circle of people that I know. I know that you know a lot of people that I don't know. Would you be willing to introduce me to your friends? Would you have a few of your friends over and let me come and do a healthy happy hour with them? I will reward you greatly if you do this for me. Would you do this for me just one time? It would mean the world to me. And so that's a way that you can ask. You can even call some of those healthy living clients and send them a sample of the RE9 and follow up with it. Say, I know you loved our nutrition. I'd love to introduce you to the skincare. Who knows, guys, that could be, you know, the perfect timing in their life with the skincare where they go, you know what, I love the healthy living, I love the skincare. I may give this business a shot. So I want to encourage you guys to go ahead, lead by example, Do your homework this week. Maybe you've laxed on your homework. Do all of your homework this week, because by showing up, leaders show up. By showing up and being all in, you will see your business grow. Again, you guys, there's so much month left in August. We're not even halfway through the month. So Tracy, Dyer, you are amazing. Thank you so much for the incredible training, for pouring into us. And I cannot wait to see what happens this week by everyone implementing the ideas that you shared with us. So thank you again. Thanks, Carrie. And good night, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Bye.